Hello everyone, my name is Anjali Mittal and I'm an author. I write children's adventure stories. I am a firm believer that when you can't go to where you want to go, a book can take you there. The Zach and Kante series will explore Africa, Hong Kong, and Europe. So come travel with me. Today, I will talk about the boat race, the first adventure Zach and Kante had in Africa. On a summer's day, in the heart of Africa, the rain is persistent and the boys are bored. So they decide to make paper boats and race them. This leads them to the enchanted kingdom of the Banana people, a tribe from another planet. When King Kra asks them for help, Zach and Kante, along with King Kra's daughter, Rhea, and Samuel, the Maasai warrior, embark on their journey to the migration. With their newfound powers of being able to speak to animals, they are able to talk to Herbert the hippo, Priscilla the crocodile, and many more. The boat race is a story about friendship, about mystical creatures, about a million stars of love and kindness, and above all, it is the story of Africa. Now I am going to read you a passage from the boat race. The heavens above crackled and roared as drops of water fell upon the ground. The boat swayed lazily from side to side until they mastered the art of balancing in the rapid flow of muddy rainwater. Soon they gained momentum. Kante and I kept up with them and watched as one boat overtook the other and then suddenly slowed down, allowing the one behind it to pass. There was no telling which boat would win. "Go, Miracle, go," I shouted as I followed the blue sails of my red boat. "Show your power, power," panted Kante as he skipped along on the dusty pavement. We were completely oblivious to anyone around us. The race was to the post office, and before we knew it, we were there. Power won by less than an inch, and Kante beamed with pride. "Let's do it again," I said, carefully taking hold of Miracle and heading back to the boutique. The second race was just as exciting as the first, apart from the fact that I stumbled into Mr. Njeri, who was pushing his ice cream cart around the town, trying to make a sharp exit in the rain. Completely drenched in his white gown and cap, he swore. "I'm sorry," I mumbled, slowing down, promising him that we would buy ice lollies just as soon as the rain stopped. Mr. Njeri grunted and adjusted his cap as I helped him straighten his cart that had half toppled over with one wheel in the gutter. He nodded and walked away, lugging his load with him. This time, Miracle won. We decided we would race one last time to decide the true winner. As we let go of the boats for the third time, we got better at dodging people and keeping an eye on the vessels with great precision. Miracle and Power were side by side as we skipped beside the gutter, cheering them on. That was when the splashes of water around us started to get larger and larger. The people in the town seemed to disappear, and all we could see were the sailing boats. The gushing water now resembled an overswollen river. We looked at each other. On either side of us, the water had risen to above the level of the shops, exactly like the picture I had seen of the sea that Moses had parted. Before I could say anything, I felt a great force sucking me in. I could not understand what was happening. Kante too looked like he was being pulled in by some unforeseen power. He resembled a genie being drawn back into his magic lamp. His arms were waving frantically, but his body was being dragged into his boat, and all I could see was smoke where his legs should have been. I looked down at my own feet and saw the same. I screamed, and at that moment I lost consciousness. I could not tell how long I was out for, but when I woke, I heard Kante's voice. Zach, wake up! Zach, please wake up!" I slowly came round and sat up. "Where are we? What happened?" I asked, rubbing my eyes. "I have no idea what happened, Zach. I really don't know, but we're in our boats," he exclaimed. I jumped up. "What do you mean?" I asked, looking around me. He was absolutely right. I was in Miracle, my red boat with the blue sail, and the paper we had used to make the boats had turned into proper wood. The boat had a mast and reared sails. Standing tall in front of me was the room that I'd built on the deck with a matchbox, and beside it lay the buckets and ropes. I was in the boat. How could that be? I looked in Kante's direction and saw him in his bright yellow boat with the word power clearly written on it. He had a big grin on his face. The stream, river, puddle, whatever you may call it, was calm, and we were gliding side by side. The rain had stopped and the sun was shimmering through the clouds, creating patterns on the water. We rowed on silently, observing what we were passing, holding on as hard as we could, not daring to wipe the large splashes of water that kept splattering on our faces. Within minutes, I felt as if I was flying in the air. Kante too was airborne beside me, and I grabbed his arm. We had been tipped out of our boats and were in mid-air. Our legs were cycling, desperate to find the ground. Then, as smooth as can be, we landed side by side on something soft. Elated that we were on the ground, I sighed and almost let go of Kante when all at once we went whizzing downwards. It was like going down a giant slide, and the speed at which we were plunging was phenomenal. My stomach somersaulted several times, and when I landed, I looked at Kante. He looked ill. "Ha, ha, ha," came a voice. "Did you enjoy that? Welcome to the home of the banana people." Puzzled, we looked around us. We were surrounded by giant banana leaves. What we had slid down was an enormous banana leaf. Bunches of gigantic bananas were growing all around us. Some were ripe and yellow, ready for picking, and some still green. Kante grabbed my arm, and we stayed close as we searched for where the voice had come from. "Down here, you two," it bellowed. "Look down, I'm here." We followed the voice and looked below us. There, on what looked like a miniature throne made of leaves, sat the most unusual creature we'd ever seen. He was very small. He was dressed like a Maasai warrior in bright, colorful robes. He had beaded jewelry around his neck and big, colorful rings on his earlobes, and even carried a spear like the Maasai people. But that's as far as the resemblance went. Unlike the tribe he was trying to mimic, he was short and stout and had a white halo of hair and a beard. As he sat on his throne with his belly protruding, a younger version of him stood by his side, fanning him with a huge banana leaf. "You're in the land of the banana people, and I am their king. My name is King Kra. Thank you for coming to see us. Karibuni, welcome." I could feel Kante's fingers digging into my arm. I had to pinch myself and rub my eyes several times. There was no mistake. There was nothing to it. We really were in the presence of strange beings called the banana people. "Do not fear, young ones. You are our guests. We have asked you here because we need your help. You are under our protection and no one can harm you," he explained. "Have some refreshments and we will talk later." We were led off through the large trees and dense jungle by two odd-looking people from the tribe bearing spears. Before we knew it, we came face to face with what looked like a feast fit for a king, surrounded by strange-looking little people, all dressed in colorful robes. So, my writing career started in 2009. Where do I get my inspiration from? Well, I have lived in many countries and different continents and experienced different cultures. Along the way, I have come across some wonderful experiences, and I try and unleash these in my books. Imagination, I feel, is a powerful tool, and until an author has imagination, he or she can carry on writing. My inspiration for the boat race came from my life in Kenya, where it was not unusual for elephants to cross the road when you were driving along, or to even invade your picnic. I was lucky enough to be signed on by a publisher and also a Chinese publisher. So all three of my books are available in English and in Chinese. Publishing a book is a lengthy process. Right from the start to finish, it takes time and hard work. I personally love the writing process. And then you have the editing, the illustrating, putting it all together, the printing, and that's what takes time, not to mention the marketing of the book. I'm currently writing an adult fiction, which I've always wanted to do. And after that, I will write the fourth and final book in the Zack and Kante series. I hope you have enjoyed my tour to Kenya, and I would like to say kwaheri, goodbye, and I hope to see you all again. Until then, keep reading.